Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So the topic for today's reading comes from a suggestion that was made over on Patreon. We are going to be getting month by month predictions for the rest of 2025. So at the time that this video is going up, it is currently April 2025, which means we're going to be looking at the months April through December. If you happen to be watching this reading in April, then you can just watch it right from the beginning. If you happen to be watching this video after April, you do of course have the option of watching the whole reading, and perhaps you could use the predictions for months past as an energy check. If it sounds like what you have been through in 2025, then that will be the sign that this is your group. But of course, you can skip over the months that have already passed when you are watching this. So for example, if you are finding this video in July, then maybe you want to start the reading from when we're talking about July. So I will put timestamps up on the screen in each group's reading to let you know what time to skip to if you would like to skip ahead to a certain month. And another thing about this reading, I did a reading like this a few years ago at the start of the year, like month by month prediction for the year ahead. And someone had commented, because I was pulling, I probably should have prefaced it with this. I was pulling one tarot card for each month. And that's what we're gonna do today. And someone had commented, if you're gonna do a reading like this, you should use a different deck for each month, because it's possible that 2 months have the same energy. And if you're using the same deck, you're not gonna see that. And I was kind of like, okay, but then by that logic, you would have to use a different deck for each card in any tarot spread that you're doing. So like, no. But then in the back of my mind, I was always like, that would be kind of cool though. Because it is cool to switch decks mid-reading and then like the same card comes out in 2 different decks. And so you know that that theme is really important. I tested out this reading on myself with 9 different decks from April to December. And I personally didn't get any repeating cards, but I do have to say it was really cool to see all the different artwork, because different decks will obviously illustrate different cards in different ways, and then you can interpret different meanings from them. So it was cool to do it that way. So I'm just gonna go for it. We're gonna do 9 cards, 1 for each month from April to December, and they're all going to be from different tarot decks. And that's why I don't have decks out here for the option selection. I just have stones. But anyway, I'm going to show you each of these stones up close one by one, and please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. For my group number 1s, we have Amethyst in Agate. For my group number 2s, we have this Dumortierite heart. And for my group number 3s, we have this golden mica. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s, so if you guys chose the Amethyst, this is going to be your reading. Like I mentioned in the intro, we have 9 tarot decks here because we're going to be pulling 1 card from each deck for the months of April through to December. So I have the timestamps up here for each month. If you happen to be watching this at a later month, you might want to skip ahead to that month, but feel free to watch previous months as well, because those could be like an energy check for you. If what I'm describing does sound like what you went through in those months, then that could be your sign that this is your group. And I'm also going to put a timestamp if you want to skip all the shuffling and pulling cards, because I imagine with all these decks, it's going to take a little bit of time. But without further ado, let's get into it. And by the way, I'm gonna have all of the decks listed down below in order. Okay, group number 1's April. Group number 1's April. We have the 6 of Cups, Group number one's May. Okay, we have 2. The Ace of Sticks, which is the Ace of Wands, and Temperance. How do I want to do this? Let me remove the decks. I feel like that's going to be the easiest way to lay them out. For June, we have 2 again. We have the World and we have the 9 of Cups. For July, we have the Moon. For August, we have the 2 of Swords. For September, we have Strength. For October, we have the World again. Okay, so there's a repetition. For November, we have the 4 of Swords. And finally, for December, we have the 7 of Cups. Okay, let me just take a moment to spread these out nicely so we have them all neatly in a line. Okay, so for my group number ones, we did get a card repetition, which is the World. It appears in June as well as in October. And I wanted to mention something as well. I feel like the cards for July and August came out really quickly. And then when I was shuffling for September, I almost said August by accident. So the feeling that I'm getting for my group number ones is that the months of July, August, and September are probably going to go by really quickly for you. And there was a feeling of days kind of blurring together. I could see you going to write down the date and you write down like August and you're like, wait a minute, holy crap, it's already September? Like, where did these past months go? There's something about July, August, September, like it's all a blur, like you blinked and it was just gone. And I think we'll get into that as we go through your reading, but that's the feeling that I was getting right off the bat. And also, when the 6 of Cups came out in April, I had a strong feeling of home. Like home was going to be the main theme of it. So the fact that we started off so strongly with that, and then we have the World card coming out twice, I do think a big theme for my group number ones in the rest of 2025 is going to be this idea of, where is my home in this world? Like, where do I truly belong? Where am I going to find my sense of belonging? And is that home a place on the map? Is it a city? Is it a country? Or is it a person, or is it a community, or is it a job? I feel like that's something that's going to be really heavily on your mind. Like, where do I find my home in this lifetime, in this world? You are likely going to be going on at least one significant trip in the rest of the year, perhaps even two, because we do have the World card coming out twice. Some of you will be traveling overseas or going on, it's either a long distance trip or a long-term trip. Maybe that's not for everybody, but I could see some of you traveling for at least a month, almost like you are living in another location. There is a feeling of traveling with the purpose of soul searching, finding yourself, finding where you really thrive. There's like a deeper spiritual meaning behind the travel, as opposed to just like, woo, I'm just having fun and sightseeing, which of course there's nothing wrong with that. It just seems like you are searching for something deeper. So I would say this is a pretty good energy check to start off with. The Six of Cups, if this has been your energy. And in fact, there may already be a few places or people or communities that you feel drawn to, and that perhaps you might feel a soul connection to. Maybe there's a part of the world that you feel maybe you've had past lives in, or a certain person or group of people who give you that kind of strange, I want to say otherworldly sense of familiarity. Like, I know you from another life. I think if this is your group, you're thinking about that a lot, and your soul is craving that familiarity and craving that sense of home. I also feel like in the month of April, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to reminisce on the past, particularly your childhood and teen years, and sort of retroactively noticing signs. It's almost like you were receiving signs as a child, or you were receiving signs as a teenager of where your home is, but maybe at the time didn't realize that those were signs. Now that you're older, you can look back and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the signs were in plain sight since I was a child. And it's this very emotional revelation of my soul has always known and has been trying to show me and trying to call me home. So I feel like in April, you are perhaps starting to get some hunches about where you are meant to be or where you're meant to go in this lifetime. And looking back on your childhood or teen years, I think is going to be very, very revealing to you. In the month of May, these are interesting energies to have together, because the Ace of Wands is like pure, uninhibited passion and excitement and inspiration. And the Temperance card is one that talks about self-restraint and kind of like reining it in. So there's this feeling of you in May trying not to get too excited about something, or trying not to get your hopes up too much about something. So the feeling that I'm getting for some of you is like maybe you applied for an opportunity, or you're pursuing an opportunity, and you haven't been this excited about something in a really, really long time, but you're trying to kind of hold yourself back because you don't want to get carried away. You don't want to get too excited just in case it doesn't work out. That's kind of the feeling for a lot of you. I feel it's like, I don't want to get my hopes up too high and then be disappointed, so let me just chill, but this opportunity sounds really, really, really exciting. And then for others of you, it may be that you feel so much enthusiasm and inspiration, and you're just trying to pace yourself. Like you're trying not to use it all at once, or use it all on one thing. It feels like a lot of pent-up energy and passion could be coming out around this time. And some of you, a passion is coming back around that you thought you chilled out on. You thought you'd kind of moved on from it, but it's coming back with a power in May. It's like, hey, I'm still here. Perhaps I always will be here. So it seems like a really exciting time for you. I think your soul wants nothing more than to just bask in the excitement of like the possibilities of what's to come. But this feels more like your mind trying to be like, whoa, slow down there. I noticed that this Temperance card doesn't look as magical as some other Temperance cards. For one, it doesn't really look like this pug is levitating. It looks like both their feet are planted in the water. And also the way they're pouring the cups is not defying physics. At least it doesn't really look like it to me. So I do feel like this Temperance energy is you trying to be quote unquote practical and realistic, whereas this is just your uninhibited, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I wonder if in the month of May you are encountering a place or a person that you're like, oh my God, this is that home feeling that I'm looking for. I'm so excited. And then the Temperance part is you being like, okay, let's not jump to conclusions. Like, this might not be the one, this might not be the place. Let's just wait and see what happens. Like, you're trying to be mature about it, but there's this like inner child in you that just wants to be excited and just wants to, like, I'm hearing, put the stamp of approval on it. I don't know what that means. Just like make it true, make it a thing. Like, this is it. This is the place. These are the people. Yeah, so there's that kind of duality going on in the month of May. In June, we have the World card. So this could be when we see you going on a significant trip. There's two opportunities that would be good for travel, it looks like, June and October. Some of you are maybe even going on 2 trips, but it could happen at either of these times. We have the World and we have the 9 of Cups. So, oh, I really like that. What this means is that whatever it is that's exciting you, you are moving towards it and realizing that it actually does make you as happy as you imagined. So I'll just give one example to illustrate this energy, and you can apply it to different situations. But it would be like if someone's watching YouTube videos of a certain country and they're like, oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful, it looks so amazing, I really, really want to go, I'm so excited, I feel like this is the place where I belong, I think I have past lives here, oh my gosh, like just getting really, really excited. And then their mind is like, okay, now hold on, we haven't even been there yet, okay? Like, it might not be as good as it's being shown in the videos. You might get there and feel differently. So let's not jump to any conclusions yet. And then this indicates you actually getting to have that experience that you were so excited about and realizing like, hey, I actually do love this. Like, this is actually awesome. So it's like the fantasy that you had in your head and the reality of it line up pretty freaking well. Okay, so your delulu was true. Like, your excitement was true. And it's interesting how small of a window this is happening in, because these are only 1 month apart. So you might be doing something a little bit impulsive to pursue whatever this is that you are so excited about. And that makes sense with the Ace of Wands. Like, the Ace of Wands is on fire. The Ace of Wands is just ready to go, ready to make it happen. So it feels like you're getting really excited and you're acting swiftly to explore whatever it is you're excited about. And you're going in with an open heart. You realize that it might not be everything you dreamed of, but it could very well be. And I think you're going to get to have the experience you long for and realize that it really does make you happy. So moving on, we have July here and we have the moon. I feel called to do this. I want to see when the new moons and full moons are happening in July. There's like moon energy going on here. So I'm just scrolling on my moon app. Okay, in July, there is a full moon on the 10th or 11th, depending where you are in the world. So July 11th is coming through as a significant date. And also on July 25th, there is a new moon in Leo, or 24th, depending where you are in the world. That's really interesting because we have the moon. This is also a moon card, and then this is a Leo card. So for some reason, that new moon in Leo is going to be very significant for my group number ones. If you have Leo placements in your chart, maybe this makes sense to you, or it could be happening like in your ascendant, in your midheaven, in your descendant. If you feel called to, or maybe you already know which house this new moon is in for you, it could be something that really affects you. Once we get into the summer in the Northern Hemisphere, July, August, September, this is that period we were talking about before where it kind of feels like it's going by really fast and the days are blurring together. And I kind of wonder if this is a period where some of that initial excitement is wearing off and you're starting to see the challenging side of a situation. I don't want to say the dark side, but like the hidden side of it. And I actually think that going to another country is like an excellent example for this, because it's like when you first get there, you're so excited to visit all the places and see all the sights and try all the foods, and it's like fun. But then after some time, maybe the reality starts to set in. And especially what might end up happening for my group number ones, it's actually less about the dark side of whatever you're pursuing and the realization that it didn't solve your problems. Like you took your problems with you. This can be applied to many different situations, even getting into a new relationship. You know, you're in that honeymoon phase. Oh my gosh, I love this person so much. We're so happy. We're so lovey-dovey. And then it's not about seeing the dark side of your partner. It's about recognizing that getting into this new relationship didn't make my problems go away. I think it's more like that. It's some reality, I want to say some grim reality, that maybe you thought you could escape by pursuing this new experience, but it didn't end up that way. And the reality is still there, because at the end of the day, changing your environment didn't change your subconscious mind. Because that's not how it works. It's the other way around. Like if you want to feel real change in your 3D reality, you start by changing your inner world and your subconscious. So, and again, that's not to say whatever you pursued is not amazing, because I think it is, and I think it makes you very happy. It's just that, I couldn't escape from these things that were beneath the surface in my subconscious. And so I feel in the months of July, August, maybe even September, you could be more withdrawn. Some of you could be more homebodies during this time, or even if you're out and about in the world, you're kind of locked up in your head. I'm hearing like really in your head, really in your thoughts. Some people might perceive you as spacey during this time. It feels like a kind of blurry period, and I find it interesting that we have, this body of water in the moon card. It represents things lurking below the surface, and then in this 2 of Swords, there's like a sea monster or some kind of creature emerging from the water. So I feel like this period of July, August especially is going to be a period where your subconscious mind, and especially kind of like the monsters lurking in your subconscious, are going to make themselves known. And it's this realization of, I wasn't able to escape this by changing my external situation because it was coming from inside. So, okay, let me work on that a little bit. And it might take some time to really figure it out. And it's something that you really have to feel your way through, I'm actually like, I encourage talking things through with other people, because sometimes like getting a second opinion or bouncing your ideas with someone helps you put into language what you're experiencing. But somehow this processing feels very personal to you. Like nobody else can give you the answer, because inevitably, if someone's trying to give you advice on your situation, it's going to come through the filter of their own experience and their own biases, and it's just not really going to resonate. This might be a time where you feel like other people's advice is not really resonating. Maybe even readings aren't resonating, if you do readings or watch them frequently. And I'm hearing that's by design, because your soul wants to call you inward. You know, don't look for the answer out there. Don't look for the solution out there. The solution is inside. So yeah, I see you really, really in your inner world during this time. The fire on this card is giving me Phoenix vibes. You're going through a transformation and a complete reinvention from the inside out. I heard you're destroying yourself, but I kind of mean that in a good way. Like, you're burning down an old version of you and rising from the ashes with more clarity. You're burning down what you had been holding on to and identifying with that you no longer resonate with. And you're rising from the ashes. Perhaps in some way that new moon in Leo that we were talking about is you rising from the ashes and you transforming yourself, because that Leo energy, it can talk about the self, particularly your self-expression, your self-worth, and then new moon is like a new beginning. So there's something transformative about this time. And I do see you embodying Leo energy. Again, I'm not sure if you have significant Leo placements, but you're coming through really strongly with a Leo-esque energy. For some of you, this could be like, if you don't really resonate with Leo energy specifically, it could be that you're starting to proudly embody more traits of your sun sign and be like really proud of who you are. Also, I did not notice this before on this deck, but the Strength card, there's like this beautiful gold design, but then in the background, there's the woman with the lion. That is more typical of the Strength card. And now I'm going to have to go look at the other cards, because I seriously didn't notice that there were images in the background. That's crazy. And maybe that in itself is a message for you, like, which makes sense, eh? Because your eyes go to the shiny gold thing in the front, and maybe there was something going on in the background that you didn't notice. I feel like that represents you seeing something that was always there, but that you couldn't see before. And it's an aspect of your subconscious. That's why you can see it even if your eyes are closed. Even if your eyes are closed, you can see the truth. You do not need your physical eyes to see the truth. I feel called to say that the spectrum of what we can see with our physical eyes is super limited. So there's a lot going on beyond our beyond our five senses, but you can sense them. You can pick them up. I feel like you're coming out of this with a really strong sense of who you are, and I'm hearing nothing can break you down. Nothing can break down your self-worth. Nothing can sway you. And the reason you're coming out so strong is because you got the answers from yourself. So you know that they are reliable. You got them straight from the source, I'm hearing, straight from your soul. This is around the time where you are going to start to feel very powerful and very empowered and have an unshakable sense of self-esteem and self-worth. So this is happening around the month of September. The best way I can describe it is that your energy feels a lot more robust, and you can tell that a challenging period is behind you and you're ready to enter into a new area with confidence. New area? Oh, I wanted to say new era, but Maybe you're entering into a new area with confidence. For those of you who resonate with relocation, that could be happening for you in the month of October. You could be moving somewhere, like I said, at least for a month or even a few months, or maybe even indefinitely for some of you. But I love this card. I love that I think that's a salmon. I'm going to say that's a salmon and an eagle, because salmon, for me, it feels like determination. It feels like pushing forward even when it seems like the odds are against you. And the eagle is like the highest potential, the highest that you could fly. So I feel like this is you in an energy where you are determined to reach your highest potential no matter what it takes, because this strength card, this strong self-worth that you have cultivated, that's a commitment to yourself. This is a promise to be your own best friend and to never abandon yourself no matter what life may throw at you. You are so 100% committed to reaching your highest potential for yourself. This is your strong era. I would not fuck with you during, like, from this point onward. I mean, I never would. I love you. I would never do that. But if I was a clown and I liked to fuck with people, I just wouldn't choose you to do that. Especially from September onwards. It's like you're so sure of who you are and what your potential is, and you will stop at nothing to reach it. I also feel like by spending this time in your inner world, you're developing a really, really strong connection with your ancestors. Some of you could even be relocating to a place where you have an ancestral connection, but I can definitely say it's a place where you have a strong past life connection. Maybe you had many past lives there or a very significant past life there, so your soul recognizes it immediately. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you are relocating in October, or at the very least you are going on a trip, like to another country. That's really what this world card feels like. I slipped up earlier and said, like, you're stepping into a new area. So I think moving is in the cards for a lot of my group number ones. And I'm hearing this time you're doing it in an empowered way. So maybe this is not the first time you've been to this place, or not the first time you've tried to go there, but you're doing it in an empowered way this time. This represents the time where you are ready to step back out into the world with confidence, and you know that you have your ancestors backing you. And this time around feels a lot more peaceful because you've done that inner work. So there's this feeling of you earlier in the year tried to change your external circumstances or your external surrounding to fix your problems, and it didn't work. But again, the problem was never about the environment. It was about something going on inside of you. So when you burn down and rise from the ashes and renew yourself inwardly, now you can change your external circumstances and be at peace. So a couple examples of this energy, if we use the example of moving to another country, there was that realization of, oh, I'm not able to run away from my problems. And someone, when they've just moved and they're feeling like something's not right, they could easily blame it on their destination and say, this place isn't all I thought it was. This place isn't like the fantasy I thought it was. This place is bad. However, I feel like you recognized it was something internal that needed to be healed. And once you do that, you're able to go back to that same place and love it and enjoy it and be at peace. And then there's also the relationship example where, you know, if you got in a relationship with someone and then you still weren't feeling the way you wanted to feel, you could mistakenly say it's that person's fault. They're just not the partner I thought they were going to be. But recognizing it's something inside of you and healing from the inside out, now you're able to be with that same person, but peacefully and happily. So there's this feeling of being able to go back but with a new inner world. And it's the same place, but now you're experiencing it very, very differently. You're going down the same path again, but it feels totally different because the inner lens that you're viewing it through is now clean because you cleansed it. So, October and November, I feel is going to be very peaceful for you. You could be getting into meditation around this time, October, November. Maybe you're doing some activity or some course or just really making the habit to get into meditation, but that's coming through that you're going to be really good at it, and you're very good at just observing your thoughts and letting them pass. So if you have a negative thought, you're like, that's interesting, and just let it go about its merry way. And don't give it too much power and don't make a big deal about it. It doesn't mean you're ignoring it, you're just allowing it. You're just accepting it for what it is and you're moving on. I'm just thinking of this right now. I guess this person would be like a mentor for me. And I asked them how they deal with nerves, and their advice to me was just accept the you who is nervous. It makes more sense in Japanese, but like, just accept that you're nervous. I could put it that way. But like, accept that version of yourself that is worried, that is anxious, that is nervous. Because if you start trying to wrestle with your nerves, that's when you're going to start tripping up and messing up what you're doing. Because it's just going to make you panic even more. If you just accept that the nerves are there and flow with them, it will eventually pass. I felt the same way when I used to have anxiety attacks. Like, you get anxious about the fact that you're anxious, and then it just makes you even more anxious. And I found when I was able to be like, oh, it's okay, I'm just experiencing anxiety. Like, that's just something that my body does sometimes, and that's okay. Like, it's a normal part of life. Like, if I just embraced it, it would pass more easily. So I feel like you're getting very good at not controlling your thoughts, but like ushering them, managing them around October, November. There's a lot of inner peace that's being cultivated. And it's not that the negative thoughts stop, it's just that you don't hold on to them. You just let them pass through. You send them on their merry way. So no one can touch you. Nothing can touch you. September, October, November seems like a really empowered and fruitful and peaceful time for you. Finally, for December, we have the Seven of Cups, and this imagery is really interesting to me. Like, the way the cups are going up and getting bigger and bigger, it kind of looks like a staircase or a ladder of some sorts. And then these look like clouds that are clearing. And then like this, I'm like getting chills. This is so exciting. This big gold ball here like represents a big goal of yours. So I will say, for those of you who have a really big goal or a really big manifestation, what I'm seeing here, and remember, nothing is set in stone. This is just based on current energies. What I'm seeing here, it doesn't necessarily look like you're going to reach this goal by the end of this year, but at the end of the year in December, the clouds are clearing. So there's no more confusion about how to get there, which honestly, I kind of feel is the same thing as getting it. Like, imagine there's a staircase and there's a pot of gold at the top, but you can't see the stairs. Once the clouds clear and you see the stairs, like, it's pretty much a given that you're gonna go and get that pot of gold, right? So, because you know that you're gonna walk up the stairs. So even if it's not physically in your hand by December, by the end of this year, you can pretty much safely say it's gonna be, because you see the exact way and obviously you're gonna do it. So it's pretty much secured. It's pretty much promised. You're going to see the way to your big goal with clarity. You're going to know exactly what to do. And the most exciting thing that gave me chills is that once you get up there and get your pot of gold, you're like, oh my gosh, there's another staircase. Like, it doesn't end here. It goes even higher. Like, there's even bigger goals beyond your current goal that you might not even be able to like conceptualize right now, but that the universe has in store for you. And once you get up here, you see there's another staircase and another one and another one. And it's like, oh my gosh, it doesn't stop here. Like, there's bigger and bigger goals that I can reach. So I think December, this year, is coming to a close with this sort of like wake up call that your dreams and goals can and will be so much bigger than they currently are. Because like with each goal that you reach, your self-belief gets bigger, your potential gets bigger, more doors open for you. So you're ending off the year with a lot of excitement and a very clear path, very, very clear to the goal that you're trying to reach. And I just heard that you're going to have dreams to corroborate this, which is interesting. Like, I guess it's going to be shown to you and then you're going to have a dream to confirm it. Yes, group number 1, you have such a lovely energy. So thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have a link down below, my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 110 exclusive readings, just like the ones here on my channel, plus 2 new ones every month, and you can choose the topic for those. And like I mentioned, this was also a suggestion from Patreon, so thank you very much to my community over there. I'm going to have it linked down below. It's a great time over there. And my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video, that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release linked down below. Thank you guys so, so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to anyone who may have appeared in this reading directly or indirectly, and to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I wish you a lovely rest of 2025 whenever you may be watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Hi number 2s, so if you guys chose the Dumortierite heart, this is going to be your reading. I have 9 tarot decks laid out here in a line, and we're going to be pulling one from each for your months of April through December. These are the timestamps for each month. I'll have them up on the screen, so if you happen to be watching this video at a later month than right now, which is April, you can skip ahead to the month you are currently in and watch from there. However, you are also, of course, free to watch the whole reading. Watching the months that have already passed at the time that you're watching this could be like an energy check for you. So if what I'm describing in those previous months sounds like what you did go through, then that could be your sign that this is your group. And I'm also going to have a timestamp to skip the shuffling, because with 9 different decks, it is going to take a little bit of time. But without further ado, let's get into it. My group number 2s, we are starting with your month of April 2025. I'm not going to take all of those. There's a lot going on, but I do want to make a mental note that the way those cards fell out, it was like Queen of Cups here on its own, and then a bunch of cards fell out in a pile over here. I feel like that's significant. Month of April 2025 for my group number 2s. We have the 5 of Wands, for the month of May. May 2025, we have the Five of Cups, 222 as I'm holding up this card. And I also want to make a note that it fell directly on top of the Five of Wands. The month of June 2025. We have the Nine of Swords. For the month of July, we have the Ten of Swords. For the month of August, we have the Star. For the month of September, we have the King of Cups, very interesting. For the month of October, we have the Hermit, and I'm making a note that that fell out on top of this deck. For the month of November, we have the Queen of Swords. And finally, for the month of December, we have the Five of Cups again. So there is a repetition for my group number twos. You have the same card coming out for the month of May as well as for the month of December. Okay, there's a few things I want to mention. First of all, I feel like a big main theme, I'm gonna say I want you to remind yourself of this theme for this year because it's really important. The phrase, it's almost, what is it? Not almost, it's always. It's always darkest before the dawn. I feel like applies to you so much. You're going to see some of your darkest days right before some of your happiest and most hopeful days. And also that line from Seven Rings by Ariana Grande came to my mind when your cards were coming out. That's like, been through, what is it? Been through some bad shit, I should be a savage. Who would have thought it turned me to a savage? That's like, if I had to explain the energy of this whole spread, I might use that line. So I'm going to be honest, there's some challenging energies at the beginning of this spread from the months of April to July. It looks challenging, and then in the month of August, it suddenly gets really good. So let's go through it. We are starting off with the Five of Wands in the month of April. If you skipped the shuffling part, you may not have seen this, but when we were shuffling for this card, there was an explosion of cards from the deck. I didn't keep them all on the table because it was just too much, but I did make a mental note of it because I did feel that it was part of your reading. The way it came out was the Queen of Cups came out on her own here, like she fell out on this side, and then a bunch of cards fell out in a pile over here. This gave me the feeling of you choosing to distance yourself from some drama. And the fact that then we shuffled again and got the Five of Wands, I definitely feel like there is some drama going on in your life in the month of April. This could be between you and one other person, like a conflict going on between you, or it's you and a group of people. But it's not you in a group versus someone else. It's you as an individual versus another individual, or you as an individual versus another group. Maybe there's drama going on within a group and you are the one who's expected to solve it. There could be something like that going on, but I do not feel like it's the first time this has happened, okay? So this drama situation, it's not coming out of left field. It almost feels like a here we go again. It's the same old situation. It's the same old drama coming back. But I feel like something is different this time in the sense that your willingness to engage in it has just been worn down so much. And I feel like what we're seeing here is you making a decision that you're not going to engage in this drama anymore, or that realization creeping up on you that I cannot do this for much longer and it doesn't look like this is going to get any better. That realization of I may have to walk away. And I do feel like, and maybe this is different for everyone who's watching, this decision is going to happen somewhere in these months, April, May, June, July. For some of you, it could happen sooner. For some of you, it could happen later. But I feel like what kind of keeps you stuck sometimes is the idea that if I'm going to stop engaging in this drama, I'm going to lose someone. I'm going to lose a person, or I'm going to lose a group of people. And just to give an example, like that, let's say this is you with family members and you keep getting pulled into their drama, and you've realized after this has happened many times that this is not going to change. And so it's this realization of, if I'm making the choice to no longer engage in this drama to protect my inner peace, that might mean losing my relationship with these people or losing a certain level of closeness with them. I didn't want it to mean that. I hoped that we could solve these problems together, but it seems like the other party or the other parties have shown time and time again that they're not willing to fix their own BS or like work through their problems. For some of you, you might even find that there is someone who thrives off the drama or like feeds off of it. And so it's like they either are oblivious to, they're unable to check themselves and they're oblivious to fix their own problems, or they know they have problems and they have no interest in solving them and they want to keep this cycle going. Somehow they feed off of it. Maybe it's like attention that they get from it, or it keeps things eventful for them. I don't know. I want to say I don't really care to read their mind, because it doesn't matter why they're doing it. What matters is you, and that it's causing you, it's disrupting your inner peace. It's causing you suffering, and it seems like they've shown no signs of wanting to improve. So I'm seeing in the earlier months here, like April, May, June, July, it's this realization of like, oh, I might have to end this relationship or these relationships, or I can't have the same level of closeness with this person or people anymore. And it does feel sad with this Five of Cups. There's a feeling of, I didn't want it to come to this, but my inner Queen of Cups, who wants to protect my inner peace and who wants to protect my energy, will not let this go on for any longer. Like, it's the sentimental attachment to someone versus the objective realization of, I simply cannot do this anymore. So there is a cycle of drama or conflict with another person or a group of people that is coming to an end. And I don't mean to like toxic positivity my way out of the sadness of this situation. But what I can objectively say from this Five of Cups card is that yes, the universe is making space for a blessing to enter your life, making space for something better. And when I say better, I mean something where you'll be honored, where you'll be treated the way you deserve to, like a relationship or relationships that are in alignment with who you are and the version of you you're trying to be and the goals you're trying to reach, and to get that respect and harmony that you so deeply deserve. And you may not see that in the moment, but that's what the universe is planning for you. And I don't think this is a decision that you're making easily with this Nine of Swords, but the Ten of Swords, it's very clearly an ending. And there's a few, 1313 as I'm talking about an ending, and 13 is the number of the Death card. There's a few different cards in the tarot that indicate an ending. For me, the Ten of Swords really feels like one that is happening because you're exhausted. Like, it's the feeling of sprinting until you just fall down because you're so tired. Like, I had no choice but to stop running. I can't do this anymore. I'm drained. Like, I'm at my capacity. That's what a Ten of Swords ending feels like to me, and what the swords in the back represent. So for those of you who are making this choice to walk away, I guess I want you to know that you did try as much as you could, and you did stick around as long as you could. And I feel like in this current energy, you might feel a sense of regret of maybe I should have tried more, maybe I should have stuck around longer. But in the future, looking back, you're going to see it the opposite way. You're going to say, wow, I shouldn't have stuck around that long. I should have walked away way sooner. You're going to look at it the other way in the future when you have more clarity. But yes, you might be experiencing a little bit of regret, and even after you walk away, there's still a bit of a sentimental attachment, which I feel sad as an outsider looking at this, because to me it's so clear that you're just looking out for yourself. Like, this is your body and your brain just trying to take care of you and get you out of a situation that is not in alignment for you. So yes, I do think that these months are going to be challenging, and this may be something that does take up quite a bit of your mental energy. And I feel frustrated when I talk about this, because I feel like group number 2, there's something else that you would much rather be focusing on. 1515 as I'm saying that, which is the number of the devil card. There's something else that you would much rather be focusing on, but you feel stuck. Like, I don't want to be focusing on this over and over again. I don't want to get pulled into this drama over and over again. I want to focus on, I want to focus on my business. I want to focus on my career. I want to focus on my hobbies, on my creativity, whatever it is. There's other things you would rather be doing, of course. And it feels like a situation that just sucks your time and energy away over and over again. Like, I am hearing I have to keep putting out fires when I wanted to be doing something else. You can maybe feel time slipping away. Maybe there's something that happens that really is like the straw that broke the camel's back, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I'm also hearing Groundhog Day. It's like Groundhog Day, the same thing over and over again. Like, we're just having the same conflict over and over again, that kind of thing. I feel like I've had this discussion 20 times. I feel like I'm going crazy. It's that kind of vibe that I'm feeling. Yeah. Challenging energies for April through July. And this is the sun in Gemini. So Gemini season in particular could be significant, like late May to late June. Moving on, we have the star energy in August. So this is when things suddenly get really good. This is like restored hope and a bright future. And somehow I really like this card because I think we usually don't see the person looking up at the star. Oh my gosh, 1717, and this is card number 17. The star is coming for you. Usually we see the person, I think, looking down into the water and they're pouring into the water. But here, you look so mesmerized by a star. You are so taken by the beauty of this star. So while you may be feeling down in the dumps, maybe you are missing someone, maybe you're missing a past energy, the star is all about the future. And I also think it's so telling that this person is facing that way, because as we go this way in the spread, that's into the future. I think August represents a moment where you are truly putting this tough, painful past behind you, and you are finding some kind of North Star that you're very excited about. This could be a goal, it could be a new relationship, a dream of yours, an aspect of yourself that you're very happy to be seeing again. And you're just going to become so consumed by it in a good way. And it makes you believe in good things again. It makes you believe that the universe has good things to give you. Maybe it provides some insight for not why you had to go through this, because you didn't have to, but why it was time to put it to an end. Why you needed to create space in your life for something new, because there was this star that was coming in, a new love or a renewed love that you are completely mesmerized by. This is beautiful, beautiful energy. A lamb could be significant. I think that that's a lamb. Maybe there's a year of the sheep person who is significant. Whose year of the sheep? 1991, I think, is a year of the sheep. 2003 then would also be a year of the sheep. I hope that that's right. Anyway, a year of the sheep could be significant. Yeah, so it looks like in August, this is the dawn. Like, it was darkest before the dawn. And this seems like where you have hope again, and things are very exciting for you. And I just think it's so interesting that the next card after that is the King of Cups, because you might remember that at the very start, when there was that explosion of cards, the one card that came out on her own was the Queen of Cups. And I felt like that Queen of Cups represented you. Now, you don't have to be a woman, and this King of Cups doesn't have to be a man, but the King and the Queen of Cups are a pair. So this King of Cups represents some sort of perfect match to you, or some sort of counterpart to you that you will have a long, committed relationship with. I have to say, this is giving either romantic partner or business partner vibes. It's like something partner. Maybe you have another idea in your head, but I feel like you would describe this person as your blank partner. I don't know, my life partner, my business partner, something like that. Because it's a person whom you would see frequently because you have a shared goal, or you both have, you're both very goal-oriented people, and you are a perfect match together. I heard you flow together like water, and it could be quite hard to tell your energies apart. What I'm seeing is like you're both glasses of water. Just bear with me for a second. You're both glasses of water, and then there's a bowl of water in the middle. If you pour your glass of water and their glass of water in the middle bowl, and you look into the bowl, you can no longer tell which water was you and which water was them. Versus like if you do that with like pebbles, it's like, oh, the pink pebble goes in here and the green pebble goes in here. But you are like water. So you just like blend, your energies blend together very seamlessly is what I was trying to say. Your energies blend together with very minimal friction. I feel like you were maybe in relationships before, or a specific relationship before, that was like water and oil. You had to go to great lengths to make them want to interact and mix together. And now you're in a relationship that's like water and water. It's just, you effortlessly mix together as soon as you put them in the same vessel. So it's a relationship with someone that feels easy and it feels very harmonious. And there's a feeling of them being a partner to you in some way, and you're working towards a shared goal. And I feel like they are simultaneously like the star that you're gazing at, but also like you're both gazing at the same star together. Like you share a dream, you share a goal. Yeah, so this is happening around August and September. In the month of October, we have the Hermit here. You may be in a bit more of a interesting, okay, I can't tell you why. I have some ideas, but I don't know. But in the month of October, it looks like you are entering into a bit of a hermit mode. And I'm taking this literally in the sense of you may feel like spending most of your time at home or by yourself. You may not be reaching out to people as much, or you may not be replying to people's messages as much, just kind of in your own bubble. And there's a feeling of you retreating when you have everything your heart desires in front of you. So for some of you, this could be like a cold feet kind of thing, where it's like the happiness that you'd always dreamed of, everything you always dreamed of is right there, and maybe it freaks you out, or it overwhelms you, or it makes you overthink. And so you kind of run away from it. It could be a cold feet thing. For others of you, there could be some lingering feelings of guilt, maybe from the past, or how do I describe this? It's like if you've gone for so long depriving yourself of the happiness you deserve, it can feel very uncomfortable when that happiness is offered to you. Because through all this period, it's like developing this subconscious belief that that's not accessible for you, or you're not worthy of that. So when the universe gives it to you or presents it to you, it just feels off. It feels weird. It feels guilty. There's something like that going on. Like I said, I can't tell you why this hermit mode is happening, because I think that's very personal. These are just some ideas that I came up with, but there could be so many different reasons for it. I know I've definitely seen myself avoid the very thing that I want, or like run away from the very thing that makes me happy. You know, there's different reasons we do it. We might be afraid of messing it up. We might be afraid of losing it, or afraid that when we get it and it's not going to be everything we hoped for. It's not going to live up to the fantasy. I don't know. There's lots of reasons, but there's something like that going on with you, I feel, in October, where it's like you spend August and September over the moon with this new love, with this new partner, and then suddenly you're like isolating. You're scared of the very thing you love so much, or the very thing you want so much. And then we have the Queen of Swords here for the month of November, and I definitely feel that this is an energy that is snapping you out of this funk. And I do feel like this could be an aspect of you that's like, this is silly. Like, you know deep down that you are worthy of these blessings. So it's actually like that logical side of you is coming to save you. I feel like, I don't want to say it's irrational, but it's a way that you've been conditioned to feel, like to be uncomfortable in the face of your greatest joy. It's like emotional conditioning, whereas the logical part of you is like, get up and go for it. Come on. You're worthy of this and it's right in front of you and the universe is giving it to you. Like, what are you doing? Step out of it. So I'm glad to see this energy does not last that long. A month tops, I feel. And then you're getting snapped out of it. So by November, you're back to normal. For some of you, I felt like this could be a friend. If you have a friend, someone like that you can confide in. I just had the sensation of eating like a very flavorful bowl of noodle soup, but I can't place, it doesn't taste like anything I'm familiar with, like any noodle dish that I'm familiar with. So maybe it's one that I don't know of in another country, but I could see you, I don't know, like having lunch or dinner with a friend and like talking about this whole experience and your friend being like, oh, hello, like, why aren't you diving headfirst into this new love? It is so obvious to an outsider that this is what is going to make you really, really happy. Like, and sometimes you just need that objective perspective from an outsider, because one thing about our negative self-talk is that it's very illogical, but it's very good at masquerading as realistic. But you can, if you interrogate it, you can poke holes in its logic very, very quickly. So some of you might need a friend or like an outside person to help you do that. For others of you, it could just be an aspect of you who's snapping you out of this, but you are getting out of it. And just look at this hermit, like he looks, or they, I don't know, they look sad the way they're retreating in here. So I'm happy to see you will get out of that quickly. And we're finishing off with the Five of Cups. But if you look at this, like this Queen of Swords energy is like turning away from it. I wonder if you realize that here you thought you had successfully like moved on and healed from your past, but there was still past baggage lingering that you didn't realize was there, because this feels like the sadness that you felt in the beginning is resurfacing. I notice sometimes like I'll think I'm healed from something and then it comes up again and I'm like, oh, you again, really? So around the end of the year, you might be noticing that you have some lingering sadness from the past. And I know this might seem like a bummer kind of energy to finish with, but I think this is an important realization for you, that being able to move forward into a happy new chapter doesn't mean that you will never think about the past again, or you will never miss days from the past again, or you will never grieve the past again. Like, that's, unless you want to do that eternal sunshine thing and like erase memories from your brain, they're always going to be there. And that doesn't mean that you can't move forward and start a new chapter and find new joy. And what I can say is, when these memories come up, they will get weaker and weaker over time. I'm imagining a wound. I know this is a bit of like a graphic example, but maybe when you first get a wound, there's like, you know, it's bleeding and it's like big and it's very visceral, and then it starts to heal, and after time there may be still a scar there, but it's very faint and it doesn't hurt anymore. So I think it's the realization of being able to move on and be happy was never about erasing the past. It's always going to be there. And actually, I don't want to erase my past because it is a part of my story. And it is a part of what made me who I am. And I don't have to be ashamed of it or afraid of it. For some of you, there may be a coming full circle where you go from wanting to disown your past and like never think about it or mention it again to being able to talk about it and not have the same intense emotional reaction, and like coming to a place of acceptance. It was never about throwing the past away. It was about integrating it. And it's not going to stop me from moving on, because look, here I am embracing my new star, embracing my new happy future with my King of Cups. And I do think there's a friendship here with this Queen of Swords. I do think you have very supportive friends around you, and I'm happy to see that. Maybe just a few, because we only need a few. I'm noticing that the animals that appear for you, well, actually, I was going to say lamb, deer, they seem quite gentle and like docile, but then this is a fox, which is cute, but can be fierce. And I think that's the type of friends you're going to have around you. And maybe that's the type of person you are, like very sweet and gentle and loving and compassionate, but you have that fight in you too. And it can come out when you and your friends are protecting each other. And that's something that I think you'll really appreciate, is having that ability with your friends to call each other out and give each other reality checks. Because it's like, I love you so much, I'm not going to watch you lie to yourself that you're not worthy of this or that you're not good enough for that. Like, I'm not going to tolerate that. Those kind of friends that keep you in check and are not afraid to give your inner critic a good smack on the butt. Okay, anyway, I feel like those are all of the messages for you, group number 2. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have a link down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 110 exclusive readings, just like the ones here on my channel. And we also have 2 new ones every month, and you can choose the topic for those. Like I mentioned, this reading here on YouTube also came from a Patreon suggestion. We do them over here sometimes as well. So I'll have that link down below. It's a great time over there. And my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video, that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to your beautiful star, your King of Cups, to your friends, anyone who appeared in this reading directly or indirectly, and to your, did I already say your higher self? I don't know, but I'm sending love to your higher self again, and to your spirit guides and your spiritual team and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of the year, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the golden mica, this is going to be your reading. I want to start off with a kind of specific message. I have a song stuck in my head right now, and it is Future Sex Love Sound by Justin Timberlake. While I'm not sure that this song specifically is relevant to you and your reading, the song is significant to me because that song and that whole album and that Justin Timberlake, Timbaland era had me in a chokehold when I was in elementary school and middle school. Like, that to me was the golden age of music. So I feel like it's that sentiment in general that is more relevant to your reading. There could be some golden age, or at least how you see it, that is making a comeback in 2025. So for example, if you feel like this era of cinema was the best, this era of music was the best, this era in fashion was the best, in our culture, like this is when I feel like we were happiest and things were good, like that era could be coming back in the year of 2025. And there's also a message for some of you that something you are really into is becoming popular again. So maybe that's a bit of a specific message for some of you, but I'm seeing this scenario where there was a time where your interest was very widely popular, and then the popularity kind of died down and it was more of like a niche thing to be into, and then in 2025 it's making a comeback. So it's kind of like what you like is cool again. Not that that matters, but maybe it will make you happy to see that like the general public or like more people are celebrating what you are so interested in and passionate about again. It's kind of like resurfacing. And it feels really nice. Like it feels exciting. I feel like this yellowy gold color of your mica matches the energy of this reading so well. That's probably why you were drawn to it. Anyway, let's get into the cards. So I have 9 tarot decks here. We're gonna pull one from each to represent the months from April through December of 2025. I am going to have timestamps up on the screen here, so if you happen to be watching this at a later month, you can feel free to skip forward to that month in the reading. However, of course, you are free to listen to the previous months, because those could be like an energy check for you. If what I describe in the previous months does sound like what you have gone through, then that could be the sign that this is your group. But anyway, without further ado, also, I'm gonna put a timestamp if you want to skip the shuffling part, because there's 9 decks. It's gonna take some time. You're welcome to stay and hang out with me. I might make some little comments, some little messages might come through in the shuffling process, but if you do want to skip it, there's a timestamp for that as well. I'm seeing and tasting ginger ale, which maybe that came to my mind because of this yellowy gold color we're talking about. But ginger ale or like ginger could be significant to someone. Okay, April 2025. I feel like you are going to be going through some change with your aesthetic. For some of you, it could be a completely new aesthetic that you're trying out, or you're like going back to something that really worked for you in the past and that you really liked. So I don't know, like maybe you used to curl your hair. That's just one example. There's like a past era in your life you used to curl your hair and then you kind of stopped doing it. And you're like, let me do that again. I feel like I looked good with that. I sense some like nostalgia for this group and allowing yourself to enjoy past eras and like bring them back. You could be rewatching a series or rereading a book. Okay, April 2025. We have the 7 of Cups. I'm making a mental note that it didn't take a super long time for this to come out, but it did feel like there was a bit of resistance with it. May of 2025. 2025. We have the Strength card. There's a little bit of resistance with this one too, but less. June of 2025. The Page of Rods, which is the Page of Wands. Okay. June of 2025. Nope, it's July, but I said June, so I'll keep that in mind. And it's the Ace of Pentacles. August of 2025 is the Ten of Wands. September is the Six, yes, the Six of Wands. October is the Five of Wands. November is the Two of Swords. And finally, December is the Ten of Pentacles. Beautiful. Group number 3, you are the only group who didn't get a repetition. Like when I was doing group number 1 and 2's reading, they would have the same card coming up twice in different decks. You have a different card in each deck. And I'm also noticing that and maybe this is just my imagination, but it appears to me that the color scheme of your spread is a bit more varied and colorful. So it seems like there's a lot of variety in events unfolding in the rest of this year. I think a lot is going to be changing, and I heard you're just along for the ride. So things are changing quickly and you're just going along for the ride, and let's get into it. So I did notice that there was quite a bit of resistance. I don't really know how to describe it, but when I was trying to pull this card for April, I felt resistance, like the card didn't want to come out, or like the deck didn't know what card to give me. And then I felt a little bit of that in May too, hardly any in June, and then it just went smoothly. So April could be, you could feel like you're kind of in a fog, I think is the word. You could be experiencing brain fog, feeling like you're in a bit of a slump, or feeling like it's hard to motivate yourself. It definitely feels mental. Some of you could be physically fatigued, but I think it's like some kind of mental blockage of like, I can't bring myself to focus, or I don't even know what I should focus on or what I want to focus on. I can't really motivate myself to do anything. I just feel like I just feel kind of off. I feel like you're in this off energy in April. I do feel like March was a crazy month astrologically. I don't know about April off the top of my head, but you could still be experiencing some of those effects. Mercury is going to be in retrograde, or was, I should say, was in retrograde in the first week of April. And there is a shadow period after that that can last for a couple weeks. So some of you could still be experiencing some of those after effects of Mercury retrograde. I want to say, especially if you have like a strong Mercury in your chart, like if you have Sun, Moon, or Rising in Gemini or Virgo, then Mercury retrograde is going to hit you harder. And I also want to say, if you have Mercury retrograde in your birth chart, you'll feel it more. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but I just felt called to say that. And there was, this is a Venus card. Venus, I think Venus retrograde ended at the end of March, but you could be feeling a shadow period from that as well. So I don't know, your energy just kind of feels like spacey, confused, stuck. It's hard to get motivated, in a funk. I think that's the word that I was looking for before. I said fog. That wasn't the right word. It's, you're in a funk in April. Like, I just keep wanting to say like, ugh, like it doesn't feel nice. But I do have a feeling that it's only temporary and has something to do with maybe astrological transits. It's nothing to worry about. I feel like you might feel it a little bit in May, but it's going to be clearing up much more. And this will build your strength. And I don't say this to be dismissing of like, oh, don't worry because it's making you stronger, but it just objectively is. So an example that I can give is, if you were, and I think I use this example sometimes, if you were running with ankle weights on, like that's super annoying, but it's gonna make your legs strong. And then when you take off the ankle weights, then you are gonna be running like an Olympic champion. So whatever difficulties you're facing, yeah, like let's say you are struggling to motivate yourself, then you're gonna have to put extra measures in place to discipline yourself and to muster up like the drive to get shit done. And then imagine how easy it's going to be when you go back to your usual motivation levels. It's like training you to be more disciplined so that when things get easier again, you're going to be off to the races. So yes, it's a bit of a funk. It will make you stronger. It will make you more resilient. It will make you more disciplined, more focused in the future. And I think it makes a lot of sense to see the Page of Wands after this, because the Page of Wands talks about inspiration, creativity, motivation. I feel like this is an excellent sign of that you are getting out of this funk, and this represents the month of June. So by June 2025, not only are you going to be feeling back to normal, you're going to be feeling better than ever. That sounds kind of dramatic, but better than ever. I just saw 1414, which is the number of temperance, and there is a feeling with that of restoring balance and transcending. I wanted to say transcending the bullshit, because this funk you're in, it's some bullshit. And you're transcending that and coming back even stronger than before. I feel like with this strength card, the way one pug is sort of leaning on the other, although you might not be able to put an end to this funky energy, you can definitely lean on people around you. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable if you're not 100% and you're needing a bit of extra help, because I think there are people around you who will be happy to pick up the slack a little bit for you, or just to help you through it, or even just relate to you. You know, you're going through it, I'm going through it too. And just that fact that you're not alone, it makes you feel less like weird or less isolated or less crazy for what you're experiencing. I see sometimes in my comment sections, someone will comment like, I feel like the energy is so fucked right now. I feel like I'm really going through it. Like, is it just me or is this a collective thing? And then there will be replies to that comment like, no, me too. I think this is a collective thing. And I think it's nice that even if we are going through it, we can feel less alone in it. So I do think this strength card is letting you know that there are people to lean on, and you're not the only one feeling this weird energy. Like, the vibes are off, and that's what makes me think even more that it is like an astrological thing, because that will affect the collective. But needless to say, it's getting better in May, and then by June it's like you're completely out of the woods, and it feels like this is when you not only get your motivation back, but you get it back stronger than it was before. You're ready to create, or you're ready to work on something, and you feel like it's finally time, okay? There's something about, it's the divine timing for you to create something or to start a project. And I'm getting the feeling that initially you had a different timeline in mind for this project, and it didn't work out that way. But now you realize that that timeline was just something that your mind made up. It wasn't divine timing. It was like your ego's idea of when it should happen. And now you're starting now in June, and you're like, oh yeah, I feel this with my soul. Like this is when I was supposed to start. Exactly now. Now is the divine timing for you to start creating something or to start working on a project. In July and August, this is also a bit of a challenge. It feels like there's, well, I mean, it's a good thing, but it's challenging. There's an offer coming your way around July, and I do believe it's in your career. It's something that is going to make you a lot of money, and something that you will enthusiastically say yes to. But there is a little bit of a feeling of when you said yes at the time, it was just off pure excitement, which is fine. It's just that maybe you didn't consider the actual amount of work it would entail, because I see you getting a bit swamped later. And it's not that the person who made you this offer was hiding the amount of effort it would take. I think it's just more one of those things that once you get into it, it's a lot more work than it looks like on paper. I had this problem a lot, and I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of it. But if I fill my schedule like of what I can manage in a week, on paper, it looks quite empty. If I'm just writing in a day, like film, video, and one other task, on the paper, it looks few. It looks like few tasks. It looks small. But then when I actually do it, I'm like, damn, this takes time. This takes effort. So there's just a bit of a gap of like, oh my God, let's do it. I'm so excited. And you taking this offer. And then once you're really in the thick of it, you're like, damn, this is a lot of work, huh? And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but maybe this is just a heads up from your future self, heads up from your spiritual team. There's a really exciting job offer or work offer coming around July that is going to make you money, and it's very exciting. Just be aware that it might be more time consuming than you realize, and just maybe set aside a bit more time than you think you need, or keep your schedule a bit more empty than you think you need to, if you can help it. I also want to point out that the time you have in a day is not equivalent to the time you can allocate to tasks. I find that sometimes, especially if I'm doing a particularly like big boy reading, I might finish, at like 6 p.m. or something, and think like, oh, I still have a couple hours until my boyfriend gets home, so like I can do this task. No, I cannot, because after all those hours of filming, my brain is offline. Like, I have to just rest. I cannot do anything that requires mental energy. So like, time you see in your schedule does not necessarily equal I'm gonna have the mental energy to do something. So it's important that you know yourself and you factor that in to your schedule, like the time you're going to need to mentally recharge. This offer is very exciting, but if you don't give it the proper space in your schedule, it could become overwhelming easily. So make sure you give yourself a lot of time. It does seem like a long-term project, maybe a few months or at least a few weeks. And it does seem like you were sought out specifically for it because somebody wanted your take on it. They wanted your unique knowledge or your unique experience to be a part of this. And I'm hearing, okay, maybe this is just for some of you, they did have a backup plan if you said no. Like if you said no to the offer, they had a plan B and plan C of who they would ask, but they wanted to ask you first. They wanted because they think it's not only that you're capable, but your approach or your style or like your take on it is cool. It just vibes with them. And don't forget that, group number 3. You are very cool. Okay, so summer, or I shouldn't say summer because for some people this could be winter, July, August. Busy but fulfilling, and there's some money coming in. Thank goodness you got out of this funk before this came. And I see you're going to be really focused. And then look at this. This is so beautiful. 2244 as I'm holding up this card. This is your card for the month of September, and it's the 6 of Wands. This is victory, success, recognition. So whatever it is that you're working on, it's going to be very, very successful. Whoever gave you this offer, they may decide that they want to work with you again because of how well this went, or they want to give you a more regular offer or a more permanent offer. For some reason, I'm seeing someone get invited onto a radio show. That's like probably just for one person watching this. But just for this example, it's like you got invited onto a radio show and it went so well, and like the viewership or listenership or however you say that was through the roof, and there was all this positive feedback, and then the radio show is like, that went so well, we want to make you a regular segment on our show. Like we want you to come in once a month or once a week and talk about this. It's like that kind of vibe. Or maybe you got an opportunity to work with a particular company on a project and they're like, oh my gosh, this went so well, we want to give you a permanent position at our company. You know, it's some energy like that. And because the response to whatever you're doing is really, really positive, the people like it. I don't know who's the people, whether that's like the public, members on a team, some clients were like really, really satisfied. And so you have the potential of receiving this offer over and over again. I'm hearing of being invited back or of being given a more permanent position. That might be in conflict with some of your previous engagements, because I'm sort of getting the feeling that when you first received this offer, you thought it was going to be a one-time thing. So you're like, damn, this is a lot of work, but it's just this one time, and this is a super cool opportunity for me. I'm just going to push through, and then I can get back to my stuff. But if they offer you a regular opportunity, or if they offer you a more permanent position, then it's not just a one-time thing, obviously. So if you want to, it's up to you, okay? It's up to you if you want to accept this, but you might have to make some rearrangements in your schedule that could, I'm just going to be honest, it could inconvenience some people. I'm not saying that's a reason to not do it, but it is just a fact of the situation. So we may have to weigh some pros and cons. I feel like if you were just thinking about yourself, it would be like a no-brainer. Like, yeah, I want this regular opportunity. Yeah, I want to make this a consistent thing. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe some of you don't. Let me not decide how you feel. But anyway, it will be something to think about. It's up to you. But what I can say is that you killed it. This opportunity that you got, you killed it. You impressed whoever gave you the offer. You impressed the clients. You impressed the people, the whatever it is, the viewers, the listeners, the guests. I don't know, but you impressed people. And I think it's really going to improve your reputation in this field, and there's going to be positive talk about you. And I do think it's an opportunity where you get to talk about or be working hands-on with like something you're really interested in. And I heard that there's a joy in it of getting to be a student and a teacher at the same time. That just came through. So it's like maybe by teaching others something, you are learning more, or you're in an environment where you're helping people with less experience than you, but you are also interacting with people who have more experience than you, and that levels you up. So it's like you get to enjoy being a student and being a teacher at the same time. Anyway, it seems really exciting, and this is happening around like July, August, September. Let's talk about this. I feel like there's very specific messages in this group that can be like interpreted in different ways, but this made me think of like enemies to lovers, or hate to love sounds kind of strong, but it looks like a dislike turning into a great fondness. I'll put it that way. Whether that's hate to love, whether that's enemies to lovers, whether that's I don't like you to I like you. It can be as intense or as mild as what resonates with you. But just looking at these creatures, it's like these look like bears that are about to fight, and then the next thing you know, they're all like intertwined together, the snakes. So this could be an enemies to friends kind of situation. It doesn't even have to be between people, honestly. It could be like someone saying, oh, I don't like that, I'll never do that, and then suddenly they're doing it. Like someone, we were talking a lot about astrology at the start of the reading, so this is just one example. But someone being like, I'll never believe in astrology, that's silly. Going from that to like teaching people astrology, you know, hate to love. There's that kind of dynamic that's going on between you and someone or something. I don't know if any of you have this idea in your head of like, I would never date this type of person. For those of you who are single, it could be that kind of situation where you're like, I would never date that type of person, to then being like in love with someone like that. It could be a specific person who you have a lot of tension with, and then it turns into passion. I don't know. This energy could play out in many different ways, but it seems like something like that is happening in October or November. There's also a very specific scenario coming through of two people disliking each other, but it's not even based on interactions that they've had with each other. It's based on drama going on around them. Almost like they've been informed by third parties gossiping around them that like, oh, we don't like that person, we don't like that person. So these two people have this idea that they don't like each other, but then when they meet in person, they're like, wait, you're cool, I like you. Like, I don't know, there's something like that for some of you. I'm also thinking about when artists have beef with each other and it's mainly the fans like causing drama. I don't know, that's a really specific example. And then maybe like when those two artists actually meet, they really like each other. I don't know if maybe you can think of another way to interpret this, but those are what are coming to my mind. There could be something happening in October, November, where you thought you were never going to see someone again and you do. Some of you need to be careful because this might not be a welcome energy. Imagine this is like your ex and you're like, I'm gonna go over there and give them a piece of my mind. Oops. Like, how did I end up naked? What? Like, just be careful. If this is like, because this could be an unwelcome energy for some of you. Okay, I was originally seeing it as like a positive thing. We're making amends, we're squashing the beef, or like we're opening our mind and maybe this isn't so bad after all. But there could be some of you for which this is an unwelcome energy. So just be aware that in October, November, there's some dynamic that might switch over. But yes, back to what I was saying before. There is a possibility for a reunion with someone you didn't think you were gonna get to see again. In the month of December, we have the 10 of Pentacles, and I just heard that's when the money's hitting your bank account. Okay, so you could be receiving a pretty big sum of money at the end of the year. Maybe it's payment for what you did over here. Hopefully it doesn't take that long to reach your bank account. But I mean, if this is a process that you're doing over the course of a few months, maybe it's like you put in this work for a few months and then you get the money all at once at the end. It could be something like that. You could be getting, maybe you get a big end of year bonus or something like that. I just saw 3333. So yeah, there's some end of year bonus coming to you, because like that would make sense because this is December. And that 3333 that I just saw, 3 is the number of the Empress. So she talks about abundance, prosperity, wealth, manifesting your desires. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. So 10 also represents completion. So this could indicate you reaching some sort of financial goal. You know, you're reaching December and you had a certain financial related goal that you wanted to reach in 2025. So when you do all the calculations for the year, you realize that you have reached it. And maybe for some of you, you've even surpassed it. I think definitely you're going to be able to look back in December and say, wow, this was, I heard actually, so maybe you weren't expecting it. Wow, this was actually a great year for my finances and my career. This is one of the best years I've had in my career. Yeah, there's a feeling that you weren't really expecting it. So maybe this offer that's coming in July, August is not something that you were expecting to get, but it really does have the potential of turning into a consistent stream of income for you, and a very generous one at that. But I want to be clear that even if you don't take this offer take it on as something consistent in your life, there's going to be other avenues to make money that are finding you. But I could definitely see you making money from your main job as well as like a side hustle or a passion project, or, you know, finding additional streams of income. And I think that you're feeling very, very comfortable at the end of the year. You've reached your goal. I don't know if some of you are working with like a financial planner. Maybe this is a sign or a confirmation of that, or just thinking about your financial goals in the long term. But I think you'll find that you have the potential to be comfortable for many years. Why do I keep feeling like you weren't expecting that? Not like you were expecting the worst, but there's a feeling of someone didn't expect that they were going to do very well for the next few years. Like they were kind of preparing themselves to be just coasting, not really at their best. But in terms of your professional goals and your financial goals, this is actually going to be a really good year. I think you should be very proud of yourself now and at the end of the year. There could be some blessing coming to your family around the end of the year as well, around December, or a milestone in your family. Maybe someone is retiring, or someone is becoming a parent, or if someone's becoming a parent, there could be someone becoming a grandparent, or someone's buying a home. Like there's some blessing coming to your family that either is like growing the family or increasing stability in your family. Maybe someone's getting to move to be like closer to you, or you're going to be closer to someone. I see more joy and stability and more ease and convenience and comforts like coming to your family or the people you cohabitate with if you live with someone, or the people close to you. You could be getting an upgrade in your living situation, like getting money to renovate or fix something in your house. Or if you live in a condo or like an apartment building, it could be getting really nice renovations, getting more amenities, I think is the word. More amenities or more facilities or something. You're solid, like you're comfortable, you're stable. What can I say? I love it for you. Okay, so group number 3s, those are all the messages I'm seeing for you. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 110 exclusive readings, just like the ones here on my channel, plus 2 new ones every month. And you can choose a topic for those. We also sometimes do the suggested topics here on YouTube. Like I mentioned, this one was suggested on Patreon. And I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release linked down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading, directly or indirectly, to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of the year, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!